Hello, Camilla Constance here. So good to be with you again. Today I'm going to challenge a sexual orthodoxy that is so widespread and it causes so much difficulty for so many individuals and so many couples. And I kind of want to call it out as a bit of bullshit. Now, it's not. When I say it's a bit of bullshit, that doesn't mean it's an easy problem. It doesn't mean it's an easy thing to ignore, that it's just going to go away. But I'm going to just challenge how we react to a situation that is pretty common in our lives, and actually, thanks to the porn industry, getting more and more common. And that the problem is erectile dysfunction. And my question today is, why is this such a problem for women? Like, why do women actually care about whether or not their men have stonking hard cocks? Now, okay, I think you're kind of all going to respond to it with like, duh, it's kind of obvious. And to me, I'm like, yeah, but is it? Because if you look at the statistics that's coming out of sexual research right now, somewhere between 18 and 30% of women in the West routinely experience, or no, not routinely, experience orgasm. Now, the stats are different depending on where they're taken, the year they're taken, the group they're taken amongst, and whether the women are saying it's a routine or experienced ever. But the shocking findings are that women are not having an orgasm due to penile penetration. So basically, these erections we care so much about are not the way that we experience orgasm. So, like, to me, orgasm is pretty important. My pleasure is supremely important. So why am I so bothered about someone else's body part that actually isn't going to give me the pleasure that I seek? Or based on statistics, it's not giving me the pleasure I seek. And when I know, because there's enough knowledge out there, right, that my pleasure does not depend on erection, why am I so bloody concerned about the erection? And I'm like, I wouldn't say I am now, but certainly in my recent history, yeah, I was bothered about erection. When I was faced with soft cocks in the bedroom, as you know, it's getting sexy and exciting. I'm not talking about going to sleep soft cocks. I'm talking about we're having sex soft cock. That challenged me. I was the woman who pulled away my hand with a bit of disgust and a bit of kind of like, ooh, what's going on there? I don't understand this. It's not doing what it should be doing. And I was the woman who made it all about me. I made it mean that I'd been too sharp, that I'd shouted, or I'd been bad-tempered, or my body was changing. That's right. A really common thing for me was, it's the varicose veins, or it's the fact that I haven't had my moustache done recently, or it's the fact that my boobs have got saggy, or my bum's got too big. Whatever it was, it's all about me. And then my kind of reasonable mind, and it was my reasonable mind, was saying, hold on a second, it's his lack of erection. Maybe there's something going on in his life. Maybe this is a completely vulnerable, sensitive moment for him, and that actually what's needed from you, Camilla, is kindness and understanding and gentleness and love and compassion, rather than the behaviour that I have reported to me by so many men who've come to work with me, who report women who get angry, call them useless, women that turn their backs on them, women that storm out of the bedroom, women that switch off the lights, women that roll over. What is going on that we women get so angry and agitated and upset by the presence of a soft cock in the bedroom? So my theory is this. According to What Women Desire book behind me, the number one thing that a woman needs to be sexually excited and feel sexual is to be desired. The fact that a man finds us desirable, how do we measure it? With an erection. As long as the man is getting a stonking hard cock, we know that we're sexy, we know that we're beautiful, we know that we're worthy as a human being. Our worthiness is measured in his erection. He could have had a shit day in the office, he could have had a really bad argument with his boss, he could be really worrying about a redundancy he's facing, he could be worrying about whatever. And he comes to the bedroom wanting to be loved, wanting to be held, wanting to feel soft and vulnerable with his life partner. And all we care about is whether he gets hard, because that hardness is an indication of how worthy we are as a human being. That is fucked up. It's nobody's fault. Okay, it's where we're conditioned. Women are so conditioned to please. We are so programmed to meet other people's needs that we have made our worthiness as human beings dependent on erections that quite often have nothing to do with us. And I think the sooner we can separate our sense of worth as a human being from his erection, the healthier and happier we're all going to be in the bedroom. Is I want to call out this madness that we have made our worthiness as a human being completely dependent on his energy, his amount of relaxation in the moment and his pleasure, that everything about us as women is dependent on his outward signs of gratitude, appreciation, pleasure, excitement, whatever. In Vagina, Naomi Wolf's fantastic book, which I really, really, really encourage you to read, she talks about research done on with rats, in which scientists managed to switch off the pleasure receptors in the brain somehow. I can't remember how. Read the book. But they switched off the pleasure receptors in the female rat's brain so that when she had sex, she stopped experiencing pleasure. She was happy. These rats that they experimented on were happy to have sex the once. They had sex with the male rat, didn't experience pleasure, and then what was really interesting afterwards was that she rejected advances from male rats because her one non-pleasurable experience caused her to reject further advances, and in some cases she even attacked the man who was the male rat that was coming onto her. So what I find really interesting is you think about our own lives, the lives in which we turn away from sex. We don't want sex anymore. We even get snappy and snarly with our partners when they maybe start hugging us or suggesting sex is on the cards. Now, what I want to suggest to you, and this is very much what Naomi Wolf finds throughout her book, is that what is happening with female sexuality in humans is we're not experiencing enough pleasure. We're not having enough orgasm. We're not having the sex that really brings us to life. Why not? Because we're so fixated with the bloody erections. If a man gets an erection and with his hot, steamy erection energy, he's like, once he has an erection, this is like a train heading to a destination, and we all know that destination is ejaculation inside a vagina. Now, if he, in the back of his mind, is thinking, I've got to keep this erection, I've got to keep this erection, I've got to keep this erection, I've got to use this erection, I've got to make her come in her vagina before I lose this erection, there's a huge amount of panic, there's a huge amount of energy to get into that vagina, boom, 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 fast, 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 speedy, 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 urgent, urgent, urgent. And it's all this sexual program we have that sex is all about a penis going into a vagina and ejaculating there, which is kind of like, unless you want to make a baby, that really doesn't need to be what sex is about. Sex can be about so much more. And my invitation to you when you're faced with a soft cock, celebrate the potential of this beautiful, soft, velvety part of a man. Enjoy him in his softness, in this vulnerable state, in this highly sensitive, calm, gentle, loving. The potential for heart-connected sex is so much greater when you haven't got that urgent need to perform with an erection. When the erection comes into sex, until the man has mastered his sexual energy and is able to use that erectile energy is able to extend the period of erection, which is really about managing his energy in his body. And yes, it can be done, but it is a journey and it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort and a lot of practice and patience on behalf of the men. So until they do that work, I'm going to suggest that sex with a soft cock, whether it's because the man is suffering from ED or whether it's just because you're starting sex at a different stage of his energy, I'm suggesting that's where sex for women has this huge potential, where because he's in a gentler, calmer state, he meets you with your gentle, calm energy, and he's able to pleasure you, because it's not about penetrating you as quickly as possible, it's about giving you pleasure. It's about worshipping you. And then what I have found in the hundreds of men I've worked with, quite a large number of them with ED, what I've found is that when sex becomes all about female pleasure and all the pressure's taken off his hardness, all the pressure's taken off his performance, suddenly sex becomes so much more exciting for him. And oh my God, it becomes more exciting and pleasurable for her. When sex is all about the female orgasm, all about the vagina, all about her juicy cunt, then it doesn't really matter whether he's hard, whether he's soft, and you can enjoy his softness because you know that his softness is a portal to a completely different kind of sexuality, a sexuality that is heart-centered, that is heart-connected, that is kind, that is gentle, that allows you both to be vulnerable and gives you time to grow your energy, grow your pleasure, and become more and more and more orgasmic. And yes, as a postscript to the whole thing, yeah, men can have incredible orgasms without an erection, and they can ejaculate without an erection. Erections are only necessary for that kind of hard slamming penetration that only pleases women, only gives women orgasmic pleasure when they've got really, really, really hot energy. That kind of hard thrusting, porn taught sexuality is great sometimes, and yeah, women do enjoy it, and you can do it with other things other than a hard cock, but most of the time, and for a huge amount of our range of sexuality, it's not really what we want. It's not really what's going to make us orgasm. It's not really about our pleasure. So that's what I invite you into. I invite you into enjoying the softness, using tongues, using fingers, using like your whole body to bring both of you alive, and to stop fixating on whether there's an erection in the room. And women, myself included, let's just allow ourselves to be worthy and desirable, and use other things as evidence rather than a hardness. Like, let's not make hardness the purpose for sex and the measure of how good sex is. Let's allow pleasure and orgasm to be the purpose and the measure. And please don't forget, if you enjoyed this video and you want to hear more from me, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to register for my newsletter, there's a click in the comments below where you can leave your email address to hear from me on a weekly basis. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.